Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Yasharal and Yahudah. Push. We in the push. We people of the broadcast is going down. Push. Listen, we in the final hour. Push. Listen, we the people of the book broadcast is going down as we do every Shabbat. Called by Yahuwah to bring a word, a Torah, a Besorah, a word that is going to comfort, strengthen, a word that if you use, that you receive, that you take in, if you choose, it will be a blessing to your soul. Abba Yahuwah, right now in the name of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, I thank you for this Shabbat, this time of worship, this time of rest. I thank you, Yahuwah, for a word. I thank you for a Torah and a Besorah. I thank you for your Ruach Ha'Qodesh from my belly. You declare will flow rivers of living water. Of this ye spake of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. I give you praise for your seed in me. Abba Yahuwah, exceeding great power in me. Dunamos and exousia in me. Abba, I give you praise. Take the reins of my tongue and the reins of my lips and reign. Abba Yahuwah, speak through me by your Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Abba, cause me not to allow anyone to stumble, anyone to be turned out of the way, anyone to come up lame. Abba Yahuwah, I'm in this for the witness push. I'm in this for the witness birth. Hallelujah. Abba, I take authority over every evil ruach, every demon, every devil, every spirit of distraction, every hindering work of Asatan that's launched against the remnant, against those that you have chosen. I come against his kingdom influence over the people of Yahuwah. Take your hands off them. In the name of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, off of their minds. Take your hands off of those that Yahuwah has chosen to receive the word of Yahuwah. I command it in the name of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach. Abba, I thank you that you said whatever I bind on earth, whatever I execute in authority on the earth will be done in the Shamayim. I'm moving in power in the name of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach because of the blood of Yahusha, because of the atonement, because he's alive. I'm alive. Abba, I thank you right now. I loose the Ruach of wisdom and understanding. I loose the power of the word of Yahuwah to go forth in the minds of those and the hearts of those that you have chosen. Abba, I pray right now in the name of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach that your word will be a lamp unto their feet, a light unto their pathway. Abba, I pray in the name of Yahushua Ha'Mashiach that every word that I speak will be spirit and life. Abba, I pray that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart will be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Listen, the song is entitled Women in Travail. Hezekiah is the author, the prophet of Yahuwah. I don't own the rights to this music. Push. Hallelujah. Listen. Mishpokah, make no mistake about it. Listen. You're going to have to push. Right? Make no mistake about it. You're going to have to push. You're going to have to push. Right? You're going to have to push. Right? You're going to have to push. You're going to have to work hard at overcoming tribulation. Right? You're going to have to push your way through. Right? Listen, you got to understand, right? There are two kingdoms. Two spiritual kingdoms. Right? Because there's plenty of kingdoms, but there's two spiritual kingdoms. There's a kingdom of Hasatan, and there's the Ruach Ha'Qodesh kingdom of Yahuwah. Right? The Ruach Ha'Qodesh kingdom of Yahuwah. The only way to gain entrance into this kingdom is through the witness of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach. Being born again of the water of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, receiving a new heart. Right? That Yahuwah said in Ezekiel 36:26, he'll give you a new heart. Right? But that new heart comes because he sprinkled clean water on you. Right? He sprinkled clean water on you. Right? Right? You've been washed. Right? Yahusha said it this way: unless a man be born again of the water and of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, he can't see the kingdom. He can't enter into the kingdom. Right. You have to come into the kingdom of Yahuwah by the way of Yahusha Mashiach. Right. In order to get there, you have to be taken and or removed from the dominion, the kingdom of Hasatan, into the kingdom of Yahuwah. Right. And it takes the witness of Yahusha Mashiach to bring that to pass. Right. You have to receive that in emunah. It only takes a grain of mustard seed of faith. And when you receive that witness, that grain of mustard seed of faith, right, that's just what Yahuwah needs in order to get the transformation going. He's going to clean you out. Go wash you, sprinkle clean water on you, right? Then he's going to replace the old stony heart, right, and give you a new heart of flesh, a new heart, hence a new birth, hence being born again of the water of Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Right. He's going to give you a new heart, right? And then what he's going to do is what? He's going to put his Ruach Ha'Qodesh in you. Ezekiel 36 and 27. He gonna put his Ruach Ha'Qodesh in you. Right. And when you receive his Ruach Ha'Qodesh, you are now going to have the capacity, right, to keep his laws, his judgments, his statutes. Because before you didn't have it. Because you were dead. You was under a different kingdom. You was under a different dominion. You were under a different rulership. And with that rulership, it wasn't really built on obedience. That rulership is more like do whatever you want, how you want. If it feels good, do it. It's that kingdom that still exists, right? Hasatan's kingdom, right? Hasatan's kingdom. The lust of flesh, the lust of the eyes. You've been translated into the kingdom of you, if you've been born again, if you receive the witness, right? And again, Hasatan, right? Hasatan has this hostility towards the people of you. The people that are under his dominion, right? Under his rulership, right? He doesn't care about them. He can do whatever he wants with them, when he wants to do. He can take their life. He can do what he wants. He can use them to elevate them. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it. Because they're under his dominion. They're slaves to his dominion. Right. They do as he leads them, right? If it feels good to them, they do it. Right. If it feels good to be an alphabet person, they do it. If it feels good to have G4202, G4204, G4205, any form of pornonia, right? They do it because that's the kingdom of Hasatan, right. But see, the kingdom of Yahuwah, that you have to be birthed into, right? Where your old heart has to be removed and your new heart has to be introduced, right? You have to be born again, right? Because when you get a new heart, it's new life. You get a new heart, you get a new life. Right? So you get a new life in you. Right? Become born again. Right? And you have his Ruach. Right? If you ask for his Ruach, he'll give you his Ruach. He said, who, if they ask their father for bread, will he give a stone? Right? Or a snake. He said, but listen, if your father's being evil, not to do good give gifts unto you, how much more will Abba Yahuwah give the Ruach Ha'Qodesh to those who ask? You got to ask for you with Ruach Ha'Qodesh. After the water. You have to be born again in the water. You got to go in the water. You got to be born again. Right? And you receive this Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Right? You do these things and you now become a part of his kingdom. A part of his dominion, right? You become a part of his kingdom. You become a part of his dominion, right? You're his. He's yours, right? You have entrance, right? You can move in his kingdom, free from fear. You can move in his kingdom, free from that which you used to be subject to in the kingdom of Hasatan. See, and Hasatan, Hasatan has his hatred for you. Because he has his hatred for you, Hasatan has his hatred for you because he has the same hatred for you, Hasatan doesn't love anything about you. Actually, he has a disdain for Yahuwah. He has a disdain for Yahuwah's people. Right. See, and we have been removed from his dominion. And now we become a threat to his dominion. Because we become sons of Yahuwah. Because we have his Ruach Ha'Qodesh. We now have his seed. That makes us a threat to his kingdom. Right? Because now we come with some power. We come with some authority. We come with some exceeding great power, which is a threat to his kingdom. So Hasatan, he's going to throw stuff at you. He throws stuff at people in the world all the time, but he does that because he don't care about them. I mean, they're just in his dominion. They just go, they just free falling. Right. See, you left his kingdom. You have purpose now. You have Torah now. You feel the necessity of serving Yahuwah. And you do it from a pure heart. Right? You keep his law, statutes, and commandments. Excuse me. You're not fighting to find ways to get around it. You're in hot pursuit through obedience to Torah. Right? That's your motivation. That's your desire to please Yahuwah. Right? Hasatan can't stand that. So Hasatan's going to do everything he can do to recapture his dominion over you again. He's going to do everything he can do to grab his power back. Right? Because see, now you exist in victory. He's trying to take your victory back. He's trying to bring you back under the dominion of his kingdom. He's trying to get you to turn your back on Yahuwah. He's trying to get you not to endure to the end. Because he wants to destroy you. The thief, Hasatan, demons, devils, come not but for to steal, to kill, and destroy. He wants to steal your dominion. He wants to steal you from the kingdom, from the umbrella, under the governing, under the protection. He wants to kill you physically in the earth and destroy you from ever being a part of Yahuwah's kingdom again. That's Hasatan's mission. Right. That's what he wants. It ain't changed. It's the same that he did with Avah and Adam and Avah. Same thing. Adam and Avah had dominion over Hasatan. Hasatan subtly seduced Eve into relinquishing said dominion over to him by disobeying what Yahuwah said. She got Adam to relinquish to Hasatan, hurt his dominion by sinning against Yahuwah. Sin passed on all of us. We were now under the dominion of darkness. We all feared death. Hasatan wants that to be us again. And he wants it so he can point in the face of Yahuwah. Right? Now consider Ayub. We've been talking about Ayub. Right? We've talked about Ayub. I gave you a history about Ayub, a little bit about Ayub, right? Ayub is only mentioned in the Bible, in the Besorah, the Torah, the CEPHER, in the book ascribed to his name. At the time, he was the only man on the earth that feared Yahuwah. He was the only man that kept atonement. He was the only man that did what was good. He eschewed evil. Didn't want nothing to do with it. He was perfect. He was complete. He was complete because he kept the atonement. He was complete because he followed Torah. The Torah of Yitzhak. Torah of Avraham. Even though he's a descendant of Esau, right? But there's a lesson in this, right? There's a lesson in this, right? There's a lesson of how Yahuwah uses the experiences that we have as sons and daughters of his, because we are made perfect through the atoning blood of Yahushua Mashiach. We are made complete in him. Right? Right? And you know, Hasatan, at the time of Ayob, he was the only person in the Eretz, Ayob, that was walking contrary to his kingdom. He was walking in the kingdom of Yahuwah. Right? Now, you had the descendants of Israel, but they were serving pagan gods. They were serving pagan God. They weren't serving the Elohiym of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob. They were in Mitzrayim, serving the elves of Mitzrayim. That man who was the richest man of the East. This man who Yahuwah has says, have you considered Yaakov, Yahudah? Have you considered Eliezer, Yahudah? Have you considered, you know, Yaakov ben Zayin? See, these are all people that I know. And I know what they're experiencing, what they're going through. But have you considered them? See, because they came under the status of being perfect, made complete in him, being born again of the water of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Right? They established, right? As soon as they went into that water, that's the time they look, Yahuwah. Go ahead. See, but you gotta understand now. You already knows the outcome. This kingdom change, this dominion change, comes with an all-knowing, all-seeing Yahuwah, who already declares the end at the beginning, who has already selected you from the foundations of the earth. He already know you before you was even conceived in your mother's womb, before you was a thought to them. He knew you when you came over. Your ancestors came over on ships into United Snakes of America. He knew you. That's time to know you. You didn't even come on Hasatan's radar until you became born again. You weren't even on his radar until you became born again. Because see, now that light shines in darkness. And Hasatan is trying to comprehend it. He's trying to cover it. He's trying to consume it. He's trying to pull you from what you're in and take your dominion, take your power, take your authority. That's what he's trying to do, because that's what he does. Hey, you take everything he got, he's going to curse you to your face. You give him a stroke, that's it, game over. He going back to the world. He gone. He turning to you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You touch his family. You touch his wife. You make her want to leave. He'll curse you. You're going to go right back. Ma'ach, right? He was talking, right? Ma'aki. Yaakov ben Zayin Gaal, right? A year ago, he had went into the water. Much like Eliezer and Yada, Yahu, Gaal. Much like them brothers, right? And Ezra ben Zayin. Yahu Gaal, right? Went in the water. And Ezra Yaakov ben Zayin Gaal said, man, listen, after that, all hell broke loose in my house. See, because what happens is you become you are now on you are now on Hasatan's radar. See, because when you was in the kingdom of darkness and you were dealing with things in the kingdom of darkness, he didn't care about you because you were finding whatever you found in the kingdom of darkness. Right? But when you transferred kingdoms, right, you went from being dark, empty, to being full, enlightened glory. You now come on his radar. He sees you. His demons see you. Because now you were a threat. Because now, there's something on the inside of you that resembles what's in the Shamayim. See, there's something in you now that resembles what's seen in the Shamayim. So, you're on his radar now. Yeah, you're on his radar now. So, what are you going to do? He's going to go at you just like you went on Job. He said, listen, I know Job. Can't get to him now. Can't get to him. He's got his hedge around. I've been going to and fro, doing what I do. I got this one man in the East. Job, yeah, I know about him. I know he there. Can't do nothing to him. Yeah. I know Yaakov B'zayon. I know him. I can't do nothing to him. I know Eliezer, Yahudah, I can't do nothing to him. Right? I know Elisha Vagal, but I can't do nothing to him. I know Ezra, Yahu, can't do nothing to him. I know Yahu, can't do nothing to him. You will say, listen. You can bring tribulation. You can bring him tribulation. You can bring him tribulation. The kingdom of Hasatan. Ephesians 2:1. And you have he quickened. You have he made alive. Now, in order to understand this, you have to go to Ephesians, the first chapter. Right? You have to go down to the 13th verse. Right? Where it says, in whom also ye trusted. Right? Matter of fact, he talks about, and let's go to the 12th verse, he that should be the praise and of his glory, who first trusted in Mashiach Yahusha. Right? So there's a praise and a glory that's going to come as a result of, right, trusting in Yahushua Mashiach. Right? Now he says 13, in whom also ye trusted. Now you understand we've been through this before, but this is the process of being born again. Right? Yahushua said, unless a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of heaven. He said, unless a man be born of the water and Ruach, he cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. Right? It's the process, right? In whom also ye trusted, right? Because you have to have that mustard seed of faith. After hearing the word, the Torah, the Besorah, the good news, the good Torah, the good news, right? Of yeshu. You had to have received the word made flesh, right? The Torah made flesh. Yuchanan 1:14 says, and the word became flesh, and it dwelt among us, and we beheld its glory, even as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth, full of grace and truth. The word made flesh. After that, ye heard Yahushua Mashiach's word, the word of truth, the good news of yeshu, right? And whom after that ye believed. You released your emunah at the word that he was preached. And then you released your emunah of the blood and the atonement that comes in this witness, right? You were sealed with the Ruach Ha'Qodesh that was promised. Yahusha said, and in order to be born again, you must be born of the water and of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Yahuwah said to Yahukanan, he says, I didn't know who he was when I went to baptize him, but he who sent me told me that him whom I witnessed the Ruach HaQodesh descending upon him and remaining, right? He it was that was going to baptize with the Ruach HaQodesh, right? He was going to baptize with the Ruach HaQodesh. The process, right? Now, this process is what occurs in the transferring from one dominion and one kingdom to the other, right? Which is the earnest. It is the down payment. It's what Yahuwah is giving you to guarantee your entrance into the kingdom, right? Of our inheritance into the redemption until he redeems, right, his possession, us, the remnant, those who have been quickened, or those who are born again, right? Redeem the purchased possession unto the praise of his glory, right? Wherefore, also after I heard of your amunah, and Adonai Yahusha, and the love for all the saints, I cease not to make mention of you in my prayers, that the allure of Adonai Yahuwah, the Abba of glory, would give unto you the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of wisdom and revelation, the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of knowledge concerning him. Right? The kingdom transfer. Right. Being removed from Hasatan's kingdom. Hasatan's dominion. Right? Listen. He says, the eyes of your understanding enlightened, right? That ye may know what is the hope of his calling and what the riches, the glory. The riches, the glory. The riches, the glory. Glory. The riches, the glory, the light. The wealth attached to the Ruach HaQodesh in you. The glory. Matter of fact, let's look at let's get the Hebrew word for glory. Glory. Actually, it's a Greek word. The Greek word. I don't know if I like that. Is that right? I might have clicked on the wrong word. Okay, glory. It is
Strong's G 1391. Doxa,
right? So it means opinion, judgment, and view. And that's not it, right? Splendor and brightness. Bam. Right? The splendor and the brightness that is in you. See, because in a world of darkness, under the dominion of Hasatan, right? There's no shining. But when you cross over into this witness and become born again of the water and of the Ruach HaQodesh, there comes a glory. There comes a light. There comes something in you that's that treasure in earthen vessels. That light, that glory. Right? Hasatan sees that, comes up on his radar. They're going to know the light. Get on it. We have permission. Get on it. Bring tribulation. Find out what works. That's going to cause that person to recant. That's going to deny Yahusha, and for whatever sake of whatever, he's going to go back. Find out what it is. Get on it. Right? Glory. Right? He says, Wherefore I also, after I heard of your Amunah and Yahuah, Adonai Yahusha, and the love for all the saints, I cease not to make mention of you in my prayer, making mention of you in my prayers, right? Right? That the Yahuah of Adonai Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, the Abba of glory, may give unto you the Ruach of wisdom and revelation and the knowledge of him, right? The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling and what the riches of the glory. What the riches of the glory. Now, that glory, that light, that brightness of the inheritance, and it's in the saints. That's why we shine as lights. So, let your light shine. Right? Right. Well, if you've translated from the kingdom of darkness, and you have received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of Yahuah and been born again, right? And received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of Yahuah and been born again, right? And have received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of Yahuah and been born again, right? You now have this glory. This bright light, right? This treasure, right? It's the same light that Peter, Yehukanan, and Kiefer, Yehukanan, and Yaakov saw, right? When they went to Yahusha, when he went up to pray, and on the mountain of transfiguration, there appeared before him Moshe and Elias, and Yahusha. Yahusha was there. But all of a sudden, Yahusha began to radiate from the inside out. That glory, that treasure, that Ruach HaQodesh without measure, that sat upon him and aboded with him. That light that radiated from him. Right? That light is that light that's in us. That light is what causes the radar blip on Hasatan's radar. And what Hasatan is going to do, she's going to send demons. She's going to send emissaries. She's going to go deal with that. They're out of our kingdom. Now they're a threat. We can't have them a threat. Right. Listen. Right? He says, the glory of the inheritance in the saints. Right? And what the exceeding greatness of his power. Ruach Ha'Qodesh power. Right? Exousia. Delegated authority. Dunamos. Explosive dynamite power. These things are a threat to the kingdom of Hasatan. Exceeding greatness of his power to usward, who been born again of the water and the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, who has been sprinkled with clean water, who has had a new heart, new birth, born again. According to the working of his mighty power, Yahuah. I see, that's a kingdom of righteousness, right? That we are now in, right? But let's go over to the second chapter, right? So when it says, you, he's made alive, you have he quickened, you who he is made alive, right? Who were dead in kingdom, in the dominion of Hasatan. He's the walking dead in the kingdom of Hasatan. You move by the desires of your flesh. You're moved by your emotions. Your emotions dictated your response. Your emotions, right? Your flesh determined how you were going to be, what you were going to do. Hey, but you were by nature, because Adam and Ava fell, sin consciousness was placed on all mankind, and as a result, all men have sinned. or are sinners, except us, who have been born again and who have turned away from sin, being perpetually living in sin by nature. Now, does that mean that there's not a time that you may make a mistake? Yeah, no, you can. But if you confess your sin, he may forgive you and he'll cleanse you. Why? Because you have the atonement blood available to you, because you have been brought into the kingdom. He says, you were dead in your sins in this kingdom of Hasatan. This kingdom that is at war with the kingdom of light. The kingdom that is at war against you who have been born again of the water and the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. Because you are on his radar now. So you are hostile to him because you got exceeding great power. You got a Zeusian dynamos. You literally have the keys to the Shamayim. You can literally ask and it shall be given. You can seek and you shall find. You can knock and the door will be open. Everyone in this witness that has this Ruach HaQodesh hope in Amunah gets answers. I ain't talking about everybody in the world, because everybody in the world don't matter. You the only people, the people in the world, when they pray under the dominion of darkness, if Hasatan chooses to grant whatever it is they desire, he can do that. Hasatan can grant you what you desire. But it's going to cost you your soul. He can give you fame and fortune, but it's going to cost you your soul. He can promise you riches and prosperity, but it's going to cost you your soul. See, listen. These snakes that are in the United Snakes of America and all over the world, these elites, right, that are wealthy in this world, they have sacrificed to the prince of the power of the air. They receive from him because they sacrificed. They give him oblations. They pour out blood of innocent children. They are leaders in the flesh, in the kingdom, dominion of Hasatan. Listen, there's only two spiritual kingdoms, Hasatan and Yahuah and Yahusha. And his kingdom came to be when he came to the Eretz and established it. He established a dominion, a kingdom within a kingdom. He established a king within a kingdom. He established a way, a path for the righteous to operate in the kingdom of this wicked, demonic age, errors. It's in him, in his witness, in his exceeding great power that he's given to us. Now listen. According to time past, you walked according to the course of this world. See, we did what everybody else did. Right? According to the course of this world, according to the prince. Who is the prince of the power of the atmosphere? Hasatan. He's a prince. Every angel answers to Hasatan. Every fallen, angel, every demon, spirit, answers to Hasatan. They do his bidding. He took a third. them with him. And, you know, a third, we can't even fathom the number, because Yahuwah had angels. We can't even fathom what a third is. Not to mention those angels that, you know, came down and had sexual relationships with the sons of men and created giants. And them ruachs, you know, the bodies died, but them ruachs stayed around. The ruachs stayed around and the bodies died. They were a spiritual being that joined themselves with the natural flesh. They produced a spirit, natural, supernatural giants. Yeah, they were put down, but they're ruachs. Prince of the power of the air, the ruach that now worketh in who? The children of disobedience. So, under Hasatan's kingdom, you are a child of disobedience. You're going to move according to your flesh. You're going to be moved by your flesh and of your mind. Whatever your mind tells you to do, you're going to be driven to do. Because that was your nature. You know, my young Eliezer, you know, he's in tribulation now, you know, it's heavy on him. It's heavy on him. Right, but that's because Hasatan knows he's now the light that he's trying to put out. I was trying to put that light out, right? But Eliezer is determined. He's resurrected. Oh yeah, he's resurrected. He's resurrected unto life. He ain't going back to being dead. He said no matter what it costs his family. It don't matter. You know, he ain't going back to being dead. Well, I ain't gonna lose my family over this. Yeah, okay. You ain't learned the lesson of Yahuwah. That's Yahuwah, but you didn't get that message. Right? Yahushua said, man, let the man prepare to leave father, mother, sister, husband, wife. He ain't fit for the kingdom. Unless a man is able or prepared to leave mother, father, wives, children, house, and land for the kingdom, he ain't worthy of the kingdom. Because this kingdom of Yahuwah costs something. Right? And listen. There's nothing to say that you're going to lose it. But if you do, for the kingdom's sake, farewell. For the kingdom's sake. He said, listen. Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past. We all lived like this under the dominion of Hasatan. Right? Past in the lust of our flesh. The lust of the flesh, the cravings, the desires of the flesh. Right? Some people crave money. Some people crave food. Some people crave of acceptance. Some people crave TikTok queens and Instagram queens. People crave likes. It's the kingdom of God's time. I don't care who likes me. But see, I know I'm establishing Yahuwah's witness. I know that Yahuwah loves me. He loved me enough to send Yahusha Ha'Mashiach. And I know that I love people. But if you don't love me, I don't worry about that. They didn't love Yahusha. They wanted to kill Yahusha. On several occasions. They couldn't because Yahusha said, you can't take my life. I lay my life down. Hasatan ain't got no power to take my life. I lay my life down. Yahusha understood. See, I understand in this witness because I've been born again in the water of Ruach Ha'Qodesh. I've received the exceeding great power. I believed and trusted and received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of truth. Right. Now, and I believe that, I still can't take my life. Ain't nobody can take my life. I lay my life down for Yahuwah. And if Yahuwah chooses to have it be taken, then so be it. But you ain't gonna take my life. You ain't gonna take my life. I lay my life down for Yahuwah. Because I'm already guaranteed resurrection. I'm already guaranteed life. I'm already guaranteed an inheritance. I'm already guaranteed a place. Listen. For me to live is a Mashiach, for me to die is gain. My life doesn't matter to me like that. I know who I am. I know what I have in him. I know what I've committed to him. I'm believing, assured, and I'm confident that he's able to keep that which I've committed unto him against that great day. Understanding the kingdom that I have been translated from. I'm no longer under the dominion of darkness. I'm no longer under the kingdom of Hasatan. Hasatan can't do anything to me that Yahuwah won't allow. And in the process of whatever he's allowing, he's doing it for my benefit. He said, listen, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and the lust of the flesh, and fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind. Whatever my mind thought to do, I did. Whatever my flesh led me to do, I did. Whatever coping skills that I had, I used. I went with what I thought. Seeing we're by nature children of wrath, right? But Elohiym, who is rich in mercy and his great love, wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sin, made us alive together with Mashiach Yahusha. He raised us from the dead, took us out of the kingdom of darkness, gave us light, glory, light. He gave us his Ruach Ha'Qodesh, his spirit on the inside of us. Now we are alive in his kingdom, Yahuwah's kingdom, and hath raised us up together. We up together in heavenly places, made us sit together in heavenly places in Mashiach Yahusha, right? That in the age to come he may shoot forth his riches of his grace and kindness towards us through Yahushua Mashiach, right? You are no longer in the dominion, under the dominion of Hasatan, and he resents that. He knows who you are because you're the glory of Yahuwah in this dark earth, and you are on his radar. He gonna see you. And when he sees you, he's gonna launch his attacks against you. You don't become visible to him until you be born again of the water and Ruach Ha'Qodesh, until you take on the Ruach of Yahuwah. Because the Ruach of Yahuwah is light, it's glory, it's life, it's light. It's on the inside of you now, See, we can't see it, right? We can't see it, right? But Hasatan can see it. Because he operates on a different spiritual dominion. When he sees us, we walk around as glowing lights. He sees some of us flickering. Yeah, he flickering, get on it. Then you see some of us that be beaming like radiant light. Woo, man, listen. You got to work. You got to do everything you do to kind of bring that light down in him. You got to bring that glory down in him because he glowing. He radiating. He enduring tribulation. Oh man, you got to understand this kingdom. So tribulation, as the time uses, who allows it, because he's going to use it to develop that light. He's going to use it to develop that power, that strength in you, right? Because as a newbie, right? in Yahuwah's witness, in the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, the revelation comes like it never came before. Because you now have the spirit of wisdom and revelation. You understand the Torah and the Besorah on a total different level that you did before. Because of the Ruach of wisdom and revelation. The Ruach of truth leads and guides you into the truth. So as you read Torah, you understand the truth of Torah. When you read the Besorah, you begin to see the truth of Besorah. It becomes revealed to you. You can see it now, right? You can witness it now. You can bear witness to it now, right? This light, this righteousness that comes to being a part of the kingdom. See, half the time, he's trying to quail the light. He's trying to get it to flicker. You were trying to prevent you from clapping on and clapping off. Yahuwah just trying to keep you on. Yeah, you transgress Yahuwah. You sin, you repent. You sin. You repent. Yahuwah. Listen, Hashatan's goal is to take your power. Right? But listen, understand this, right? This is a necessary thing. Tribulation. Yeah, nobody wants tribulation. No, but pay for. They used to tell you don't pray for patience because he gonna send tribulation. Listen, he gonna send tribulation anyway. Because the scripture says tribulation work patience. Right. And it's a process. Tribulation develops your patience, right? But they say don't pray for patience because, you'll give me praise for patience. Because he's going to bring you tribulation, but tribulation going to come anyway. Because that's a part of the process of development. See, when you begin to look at this thing in light of what the Ruach Ha'Qodesh is doing and saying, you recognize that you have to suffer. Let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews 5:5, right? Hebrews 5:5. So also Hamashiach glorified not himself, right? To be made a high priest, but he that said unto him, Yahuwah, thou art my son, Yahusha. Today I have begotten thee, which is the same thing that he says in Yuchanan, right? He said, thou art my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. And he also says something in reference to the son being begotten. Right? So he says here, and he also says on Mount of Transfiguration, he said, this is my beloved son, hear ye him, which means that he's identifying him as his, right? He's begotten. Right? He said, listen. He says, and he said also in another place, right? And this is in the Psalms, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So Yahusha is a high priest forever, right? He is, because he's the only one that can go into the presence of Yahuwah. The high priest is the only one that can go into the presence of Yahuwah, right? Especially bringing a sacrifice, right? Yahushua is a high priest forever, right? It was identified with Melchizedek, who Abraham, when he had the battle of kings, he met with Melchizedek. He met with Yahushua, who didn't have no beginning and didn't have no end. And he broke a covenant with him, drank wine, and ate the leavened bread. Woo! You, I love your word. Okay, so listen. He says, who in the days of his flesh, Yahusha's flesh, the days that he was in his flesh, in the arrest, when he had offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death. Right, when Yahusha was in the garden. Right? You understand, Yahusha had the 33, almost 34 years in the flesh. Right? As a person. He's seen, witnessed, he experienced, he's seen everything. Right? And on his 30th birthday, on his 30th year, right? Right? He received his call. He went in to be baptized by Yahuwah. He received the Ruach Ha'Qodesh without measure, and it descended upon him. Right? Right? He was Yahuwah's son. He understood what it meant to be touched by the feelings of our infirmities. He understood the emotions attached to the flesh. And Yahuwah understands the emotions that are attached to the flesh. You know, Yahuwah didn't rebuke Iob for crying for 7 days, grieving and mourning. He didn't rebuke him for that. Actually, Iob overcame the attack of Hasatan. He withstood. He got the victory. Right? But the victory didn't look like a victory once he started to allow his emotions to succumb to what he knew and what he had confessed. He allowed his emotions to supersede what he understood and confessed, to the point where he started resenting his life. Yahusha understood what that felt like in the flesh. Pain and grief. But Yahusha was, in his ministry, driven to accomplish what the Father had set forth for him to accomplish. Yahusha was driven to fulfill that which Yahuwah had given him to do. He was going to get it done. Get her done. He was going to get her done. Get her dead. He was going to get her dead. Listen, Yahusha was determined. Right? But, you know, the attack came on his flesh. Right? He says, and when he had offered up prayer and supplication, right? Let's look at this. Let's look at this. When he offered up prayers, what's prayers in the G's? G, prayers. This is Greek.
Strong's G 1162. Deesis.
To offer up needs, right? Wants, privations, penury, a seeking, asking, right? Let's do this. Seeking, asking, right? Let's do this. in the Merriam-Webster prayer.
Prayer.
Right? An address such as a petition to an Eluah or Elohiym or to an El in word or thought. A set order or words using. An earnest request. The act or practice of making request. Right. So we see here, right? He says, he may request and supplications, right? Supplications. The Greek.
Strong's G 2428. Iketeria.
Etekeria. Olive branch, right? A supplement approach to one whose aids they would implore, holding an olive branch with white wool and fillets to signify that they came as supplicants. So it's a demonstration showing that they came to supplicate. Whatever supplicant. Okay, let's do this. What's the etymology of that root word? Sufficient, many, enough, right? Sufficient in ability, right? So let's look at Merriam-Webster's definition for the word supplication, right? So supplications, to make humbly entreaties, to ask humbly and earnestly, right? To ask earnestly and humbly. Supplications, right? So here you have Yahusha with these earnest prayers, petitions to Yahuwah concerning that which he was getting prepared to do, what he was going forth to do, because it was his hour. He was going to be punched, slapped, spat on, crown of thorns, beat with many lashes, have to carry a cross, be nailed to a cross, and have that point in which Yahuwah turned and looked away from him because that he bore sin, right? Right? This brought him intense agony in his flesh. Because Yahushua already knew what was going to happen. He knew what he was going to do. He knew what he knew what it looked like when he was in the shaman with the Father. Before he became the seed that was in Mary. He already knew what it looked like. And in the flesh, it took on a whole different dynamic. In the shaman, understanding what Yahuwah was calling him to do, yeah, I'll go. In the flesh, taking on this nature of man, and these emotions and all that stuff that's there, yeah, that's a whole different dynamic. Right. But listen, what happened? And with strong crying and tears, right? Yahusha's 32, 33-year-old grown man boo-hooing. Agony. Right? Understanding that he was about to go through a tribulation. Y'all don't hear me. You don't hear me. He's about to go through a tribulation. And he wasn't going through this tribulation just for himself. He was going through this tribulation for the world. For his people and those who were in the other nations amongst them that would receive this witness. He was going for them. He bore all of that in his body, and he booed and he wept before Yahuwah. Right? Tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. Now listen. He prayed to Yahuwah. Yahuwah was able to deliver him. Booed. Boo-hooed fervently. Listen, strong cryings and tears unto him that was able to save him, Yahuwah, from death. And he knew he was going to die physically, but he was going to die separating from Yahuwah. He was going to leave the presence of Yahuwah through this cross. And it was the presence of the Ruach of Yahuwah that's going to raise him up again. Save him from death. And was heard. You were heard. Yahusha, I hear you, son. I hear you. But you have to do this. This is the only way this people are going to ever experience an opportunity to be with us again. Yeah, but is there any other way? Is there any other way? Let this cup, son. 3 times. And he prayed, went, disciples came back, prayed, went to disciples, prayed, came back. 3 times. Right. You know, it's interesting, right? The disciples were so tired that they kept falling asleep. And even when he woke them up, they didn't even understand or see, right, his travail. They didn't see his agony. They didn't see his pain, right? They didn't see it. He says he heard and that he feared. He heard. You said, I can't do it. This has to be done. And he reverenced and respected Abba's decision. At that moment, he learned what it meant to be obedient in this flesh. Because before this, he was always obedient. It was never an issue. But in this flesh now, he learned what it meant to be obedient. He says, though he were a son, yet he learned obedience. Son, you have to do this. It's not an option. Yeah, but you, if the let this cup pass from me. 3 times. Right? Finally, the last time, he resolved. Yahuwah gave him what he needed. He learned obedience by the things that he suffered. Right? What does it mean to be suffered? What does it mean to suffer? Right? The Greek word for suffer.
Strong's G 3958. Pascho.
Pasco.
Pascho.
Pasco. Right? That means to be affected or have been affected, to feel, have a sensible experience, to undergo, right? A good sense, to be well off, in good case. In a bad sense, to suffer sadly. Because tribulation, you suffer sadly. Tribulations cause you to suffer. It takes something out of you. It draws on your emotions. It causes you at times to pivot from what you know is right in Torah. Just, we medicate our emotions. We medicate tribulation. We do things that will medicate it, hoping that somehow after we recover from that joint, recover from that cocaine, recover from that alcohol, recover from the drunkenness, that the situation is going to somehow be better. But in the end, it's not. The only answer to tribulation is understanding it's something that Yahuwah sends to the righteous that's going to give them what they need to fight through the kingdom of Hasatan, so that in the end you have the prize. See, because you got to understand Yahushua, right? Yahushua, he says he learned obedience by the things that he suffered, right? Yahusha learned obedience when he was before the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the leaders. And, he spoke a word and they struck him on the side of his face. He learned obedience. Carried him before Pilate. Pilate didn't find anything wrong with this man. But they wanted him crucified. Pilate sought to the beating. His wife told us it don't have nothing to do with this innocent man. Pressure. See, in the world, man, pressure caused them to bend. In the witness of Yahusha Mashiach, pressure causes us to be strengthened. Tribulation strengthens us. Tribulation causes us to become strong and sturdy. See, but in the world, it causes them to bend, to give in, to bow, to bend the knee. They'll do whatever's necessary to get what they need to get to avoid whatever it is they try to avoid. Yahusha, beat. Right? And his flesh, his back was open. He was open. Them lashes opened up his flesh. And then, they shoved his crown of thorns on his head, swole up around, his blood dripping all in his eyes and on his face. Clearly not recognizable like he was. Yet the worst was yet to come. Got to drag this wood thing. And then he got later while they put him on it. Hang him up on it. Drove nails into his hands and into his feet. Obedient. Chose not to come down from the cross. Obedience. Listen. Understand this, right? What am I looking for? Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. Right. Deuteronomy 4 and 29. Yahuwah says, but from thence shalt thou seek Yahuwah. Right? Or Moshe said. But for if but thence thou shalt seek Yahuwah. Right? Now, you understand is that he was talking about the children of Israel who served else. Right? And, if they seek Yahuwah, right, their Elohiym, they shall find. Same thing you said. Seeking you shall find. Right? In the latter days, if we seek Yahuwah's salvation through faith in Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, we'll find it. Right? Seek it. We're going to find it. He says, listen. If you seek him with all your heart and your soul, or your, right, nefesh, right?
Strong's H, 5315. Nefesh.
Right?
Nefesh.
Now your nefesh is your soul, yourself, your life, your appetites, your minds, your desires, your emotions, your passions. Your nefesh. Right? That which breaths, the breathing substance of being soul, and the inner beings of man. Right? Your nefesh. Right? Your emotions, your feelings, your passions. Right? He says, seek him with all of this. Right? And when thou art in tribulation, right? Tribulation. That Greek word. That Hebrew word.
Strong's H, 6862. Sad.
Sad, right? It is a straits or distress. If you're in a narrow or tight place. Right? Where you are dealing with adversaries, foes, enemies, and opponents. Tribulation. A narrow, tight space. Right? Straits and distress. Tribulation. Right? What do? He says, when thou art in tribulation and all these things come upon you, even in the latter days. Latter days. Right? If thou turn to Yahuwah thy Elohiym and shall be obedient unto his voice, for Yahuwah thy Elohiym is a merciful Elohiym. See, tribulation works. There's mercy in tribulation. There's mercy in tribulations. There's mercies in testings. There's a mercy in proving. There's mercy in these things. Right? He will not forsake thee. First of all, tribulation comes because he allows it to come, even though Hasatan is trying to use it to pull you out of Yahuwah's kingdom, to put out your light. He's trying to bring you to a place where your light glows. Right? He's trying to get you through a tribulation that's going to power you in the last days to do the work that he needs you to do in the kingdom, for the kingdom. Right? For he will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget his covenant of thy fathers, which he sworn unto you. Listen, tribulation works. You're in the kingdom of Yahuwah. Yahusha suffered tribulation. Yahusha went through suffering, tribulation. Ayob, tribulation cost him his kids, his camels, his oxen, his sheep, and his servants. That which made his wealth, the tribulation, took it. And then tribulation affected his body with boils. Tribulation gave me a stroke. Tribulation. But Yahuwah, because I chose to not fear and pray in the Ruach of Yahuwah. Yahuwah told me it's okay, I got this. Ayob's response is naked. Okay, I came out of my mama's womb, and naked shall I return. Yahuwah gave. Yahuwah take away. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah. Covered in boils from the crown of his head to the soles of his feet. Painful, oozing blisters that he's scraping. Sitting in ashes. His wife comes up to him and says, listen, man, you ought to curse Yahuwah and die. You sound like a foolish woman. Is not Yahuwah the author of good? And does not Yahuwah allow evil? No. I'm going to maintain my integrity in Yahuwah. She didn't come to him saying, come on, let's stand together in the Most High. I understand everything you're going through. I'm with you. No, she said, look, man, you just totally disrupted the program. You done did something now, you know, it just totally disrupted it. You know, all he did was serve Yahuwah, and Yahuwah allowed tribulation to come. You disrupted the program. Just curse God. Curse Yah and die. Curse the Most High and die. Having done all, in the midst of tribulation stand. Right? He says, for Yahuah thy Eloah is a merciful Eloah. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he swore unto them. Tribulation. All right. Let's look at Matthew, the 13th chapter. Matthew 13 and 18. He said, here's the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and understands not, then cometh the wicked one, and catches away that which was sown in the heart. See, tribulation is Hasatan's attempt to take away what was sown in the heart. See, because you believed. See, because you believed, in whom also, Ephesians 1 and 13, in whom ye also trusted after that ye heard the word of truth, the Besorah of your yeshu, in whom also after ye believed, ye were sealed with the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of truth. See, you had to have believed, right? The word. And once you have received that word and believed that word, the enemy comes. Right? He said, now let's understand and hear the word of the kingdom. This is the process. This is what happens in the kingdom of you, right? When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and understands it not, then cometh the wicked and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is he that received the seed by the wayside. You heard the word. Really couldn't make sense of it. Hasatan comes, takes it away. You're still in your same state. Right? He said, but he that received the seed on stony ground, right? Stony heart. Right? The same is he that heareth the word, and anon, and rejoices it. Here's the truth, and rejoices it. Yet haveth he not roots in him, he has nothing cultivated to cause the seed to get in and really grow, right? Yet he having no roots in himself, but enduring for a while, for with tribulation. Things that work on your emotions, things that work on your mind. Tribulation comes, right? And persecution, right? Tribulation comes and persecution arises because of your witness. Because you've been born again of the water of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, you received the word of truth. The good news of the Besorah. Yahusha Ha'Mashiach. Right? Because you haven't been rooted. You got to be cultivating the seed. You got to be cultivating the walk. See, you make the ground pliable. You make the ground, the soil rich. As you fast, as you pray, and as you seek his word, seek him in his word. As you make songs and melodies in your hearts, you sing. Or you listen to the prophet Hezekiah. Listen, Hezekiah, man. My Aki Eliezer, he says, listen, man. He got surround sound throughout his house. He said he got it on the YouTube on cycle, all the videos, and he plays them all. He got his son talking about we free brews. Yeah, see, that's why Yahuah has caused him to be born again of the water and the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, because there's generations that are yet to follow that must understand this witness. Tribulation will rise. Persecution. You know, people gonna start like, look, man, you know this is your fault. You know this is your fault. Girl, this is your fault. Just like they did y'all. Listen, you did something wrong. It's your fault. This is your fault. Who said, who is this that brings counsel of empty words? See, this right here, you can't go to mom and them. See, when persecution arises and tribulation comes, you can't always go to mom and them, because mom and them ain't born again in water, Ruach Ha'Qodesh. They ain't going to give you sound advice. You need to get with the mishpaka that has the Ruach Ha'Qodesh. I ain't talking about any mishpaka. I'm talking about mishpaka, you know, that's got the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, and you need to get with them, and they need to pray with you and agree with you and share with you in order to keep that ground tilled, so that you can grow, because tribulation works. Hasatan meant it for your evil. Hasatan meant it for Job's evil. Yahuah meant it for his good. Yahuah said, look, I said, you allowed me to caused me to bring suffering to a righteous man for no cause. Tribulation is that which Hasatan brings to the righteous man and woman for no cause. But Yahuah is going to use it to elevate that man, that woman, so that they grow and become strengthened. It's because tribulation works, y'all. Tribulation is by design. It works. There is benefits in tribulation. Without tribulation, there's no mechanism to measure your ability to endure. You have to be in a place where you can endure, and the only way you're going to endure to the end and attain your inheritance, right? Your down payment is by you enduring tribulation. Because it works. It develops the glow, the glory. He says, the wicked one come and catches it away, and that was sown in his heart, that which he received by the wayside. But he that received the seed on stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and rejoices, right? Gets excited and rejoices, right? Yet haveth he not rooted in himself. He heard a word, but he didn't do anything to develop that word. He didn't do anything to develop that word. He didn't receive a word of Yeshua and salvation and build on that word. Right? Right? And because persecution comes, right? Right? Tribulation comes, persecution comes because of the word, because of the witness, because of the word made flesh, because being born again of the water and Ruach Ha'Qodesh, because of keeping Torah. He says, by and by he is offended. You ain't cultivating it. See, but when you cultivating it, you're going to stand. That word of the witness of Yahushua Mashiach is going to be your driving force. He said, listen, he also that receiveth seed amongst the thorns is he that hears the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. Get the word? See, preoccupied with things. Or getting things. Getting wealth, getting money, getting hustle. Right? But he that receives seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, right? Understands it, because he's received the word of truth. He's received it, right? The word, understands it, and it bears fruit. There's a benefit in return. There's dividends paid. You've endured tribulation. You're enduring persecutions. You got good soil. You praying, you're fasting, you're meditating. Right? You produce fruit. You produce fruit. You got to make it through this tribulation, because at the end there's fruit. You gonna increase 30, bear forth fruit. Some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. There is something that's going to come as a result of this having made it through this tribulation. Hasatan meant it for evil. His goal is to render you powerless. Get you to fall by the wayside. To get you to be turned out of the way. To go back to that empty nothingness that you knew. To go back to that empty nothingness, that dark kingdom, having that light clap off. That's what Hasatan's goal is. Right? He knows he's lost. He don't know what you gonna do. But see, you gonna endure tribulation. Your glow gonna get brighter. He gonna keep coming. But eventually you gonna just take authority over him all the time. His demons, his devils. You're gonna be that man that's perfect and upright. eschewing evil. You're going to be that Eliezer Yahudah Gaal. That Yahuwah is going to say, he's perfect. You're going to be that Ezra Yahu Gaal. That Yahuwah is going to say, he's perfect. You're going to be Elisha Gaal, and he's going to say, she's perfect. Because you came through tribulation. Yaakov ben Zion, Adonai Yahu, you came through tribulation. Yaakov Yahudah Gaal, you came through tribulation. You came through tribulation. Yahuwah has invested Yahusha Mashiach in you. He's invested in you. He's going to see you through tribulation. You're going to have to do some things. You're going to have to beat your body. You're going to have to bring your mind and your emotions under the subjection of the Ruach Ha'Qodesh of Yahuwah and the Torah, the word, the Torah and the Besorah of truth. You have to do this. Too much been done. Too much been done. Listen. Romans 5 and 3. Matter of fact, let's start at Romans 5 and 8. But Elohiym commanded his love towards us, and that while we were yet in darkness, Torah breakers, under the dominion of Hasatan, the prince of the power of the air, he allowed Mashiach to die, to suffer, to go through tribulation for us. Right? And much more then, now being justified by the blood that was offered in atonement by that high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, we are saved from the wrath to come. Hasatan can't do nothing to me. It's like Yahuwah told. He told me, Hasatan said, listen, Hasatan said, how he said? He said, skin for skin. You touch his body, you take away his health. You put death before him, he gonna curse you. Nope. Ayub maintained his integrity. Mashiach did this for us, right? He says, right? Right? Much more now being justified by his blood, we shall be saved from the wrath through him. For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to Elohiym through the death of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach, much more being reconciled shall we be saved in life. Right? We will be saved in life. What scripture verse? I'm sorry, I gotta go back because I'm trying to remember what verse I was referencing. Oops, no, that's not what I'm doing. Oh shoot, I was Roman. Okay, so I'm way off. I mean, all that is pertinent and good, but what I was looking to get was, verse 1. Therefore, being justified by emunah, we have peace with Elohiym through Mashiach Yahusha. We have peace with Yahuwah through Mashiach Yahusha, right? Who by whom we also have access and emunah into this grace wherein we stand, and we rejoice in hope and in glory. Right? Right? And knowing, and not only so, but we glory in tribulation. We glory in tribulation. Knowing tribulation works. Tribulation works. Patience. Tribulation works. We fast, we pray, we seek Yahuah. We sing songs and spiritual songs. We make melodies in our hearts concerning Torah and the Word, right? In this tribulation, it gives us patience, right? Not being moved by what we see, but being established in what we know in Torah, right? And, you know, in this patience, we develop this experience. Because we know that if we got through this tribulation, we can get through the next one, right? And experience brings us to hope. We know that if we're going through these things, at the end of the day, we still have hope, because Yahuah only brings this to those who are his. He says, and hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of Yahuah has been shed abroad in our hearts by the Ruach Ha'Qodesh, which he has given us. Job maintained his integrity. He kept his emunah in Yahuah. Yeah, there was a point in which he was emotional, and his emotions almost took control. He allowed what his friends were saying to him, which was nothing but persecution. Oh, you did something, Job. Oh, there's something that you did. Listen. Persecution. Unrighteousness. Unrighteous persecution. But what did he do? He stood. Tribulation works, y'all. Tribulation works. We're going to stop there. It's the Shabbat. Yahuah has brought his word. And I am a faithful high priest to deliver it. See me, I ain't going to stagger at the promises of Yahuah through unbelief. I'm going to be strong in Amunah. See, because I am persuaded of what Yahuah has said he's able to do. Right? And you know, in this witness, you got to understand something. You going to have to push. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You going to have to push. Right? Let me try to find this song again, because we got to play this again. Yeah, there it is. There we go. Okay, I don't want no commercial. Okay.
You need to push now. You push like you never pushed before.
You got to push through tribulation. You got to push through tribulation. You have to push through tribulation. It works. Abba Yahuah, I give you praise for your word. I give you praise for your word. I give you praise for your word that you've given me, that I've given to them. Abba Yahuah, I pray that this word would go to those that you have chosen. Abba, I pray that everyone that you have chosen to have an ear to hear would receive this word, and that they would share this word. Abba Yahuah, I pray in the name of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach that this word would cause your people to be strengthened and grow. I praise you right now in the name of Yahusha Ha'Mashiach. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. You are my strength and my redeemer. Yasharal and Yahudah understand. Tribulation works. And we are the people of Yahuwah. Listen, that's all I got. That's all the Ruach gave me. So, we gonna let you go. We gonna tell you Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and listen, be blessed. Understand, tribulation is for the righteous. Yahuwah allows it so that we will be strengthened, that we will shine as lights, that we would endure to the end. You better take tribulation and pull it close to you, because it's an ally, not an enemy. With that, I say Shabbat Shalom, and be blessed.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.